Let's hear it for the Belgian bullet, Luca Brecel. And his opponent is the Welsh putting machine, Mark Williams.
Two of the most composed players in the game. Incredible confidence, the pair of them. Who will prevail? Let's find out by handing to our commentary team of Stephen Holworth, but first, Phil Yates.
Thank you.
Radzi, thanks an awful lot. So, Luca Brecel gets things underway. He was a little confused when he came in because the highest ranked player always sits on the left as we're looking at the screen. And for the last couple of years, he's been higher ranked than Mark Williams, but not anymore. Williams now up to world number 6, so he gets the left-hand seat as we're looking. Luca had to sit on the right. He's world number 8. Thoughts, Stephen, before a ball spotted?
So tough to predict, isn't it? I was so impressed with Mark Williams in his win over Judd Trump yesterday. That little dish that he made, the blue was such a good shot, probably the shot of the tournament for me. But Luca, he seems to have found a little bit of form. He's sort of got his mojo back again. Yeah, so tough to predict.
Very tentative there, so 4 points given away. Now, is it a free ball?
It was a strange one, that, from Mark. He sort of asked the referee there something about the golden ball. Of course, having potted the red and not being on the black, that golden ball will be removed. Strange shot, that, from Mark.
Kevin Dabrowski, who will be officiating the final later on this evening. No free ball, he says. So Luca just asking for Kevin to take a second look now. He's putting this extra red on just to give himself some kind of sighting guide.
Yeah, the red he's concerned with is this one that Luca's just pointing his cue to here, the red at the extreme right of the pack. It doesn't matter what balls are in the way. If the red balls are covering, obstructing access to that red, the extreme left of it as we look, the reds can't be covering that. It's whether or not the pink is in play. It's very, very tight.
This will test the referee's concentration, because after all of this, he's then going to take that golden ball off the table, as you say, Stephen. Will he forget?
Well, looking at that image, I think this is a free ball.
Yeah, you can, so it is a free ball. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's confirmation. Referee Kevin confirming he can't hit the extreme side of that red because the pink is obstructing it, so free ball declared.
And the golden ball is still on the table. I think he might swoop in and take it off after this. Indeed. That's a really good pot, you know. You come to a snooker tournament, look down the line of potting the yellow off its spot into a middle pocket. The target is minuscule.
Yeah, and he's got a chance here, Luca, to get into the pack of red straight away. He's taken the chance, but he's just caught the knuckle. And he's gone round the whole lot of them. This cue ball just catches that top knuckle, widens the angle off it, and then avoids all the reds.
They haven't played
Brecel,
a great amount of matches, these two. Williams 4-2 up in their career head-to-heads. But Brecel has won their two most recent meetings, and big ones they were. Shanghai Masters last 16 last year, but most prominent last 16 of the World Championship in 2023. Brecel won 13-11 and of course went on to lift the trophy. And because of the way he played in that match, Williams is well aware of just how good he can be. That was one outstanding performance from Brecel. He made 4 centuries and another 8 half centuries. Has the cue ball travelled far enough for Williams to make hay?
Well, he's had a rather favourable flick there on the blue. Didn't intend to cannon it, but in doing so, he's landed topside. Now here's a Mark Williams special into the reds. Look at that shot, the underarm shot. How does he do that?
It looks cheeky, but no one has ever been better.
7.
I mean, if you've ever tried to play a shot like that on a snooker table, you can pretty much guarantee that you're going to miss cue. It's the most uncomfortable thing in the world, but Mark, that's always been a bit of a specialist for him.
Second. Mark Williams, 40.
And again, there's a good example of just how quick this table's playing. Didn't look for a minute there that it would have the legs to get back to the balk area, but it did do, just kept on travelling. These conditions this week have been really, really good.
When Brecel came out of nowhere to win the World Championship, he beat Ronnie O'Sullivan. He came back from 14-5 down to beat C. Sholway in the semi-finals, Mark Selby in the final. But I thought it was his performance against Williams that, in terms of pure fluency and steel, that was the one that stood out for me. That's why Williams will be circumspect. He'll know he has to play close to his best. That last 16 match, it was 11 each. I just thought Williams had got the edge then. And Brecel made a couple of really good half centuries under the most extreme pressure. And I think winning that match on that stage against that opponent, that's what puts the thought in his mind, I could go all the way here.
Yeah, to beat a player of that class over that sort of distance. I mean, if you can't take any confidence from results like that, then when can you? I agree with you, Phil. That week, he took a lot of inspiration for a lot of his matches, and ultimately that's what made the difference. You know, I don't think many people saw the result coming in the final to beat Mark Selby over the longest distance we have in the game. That was so impressive.
Nothing impressive in this frame yet from either player, but typical opener. Their pod success rate in the tournament overall has been adequate. 90% the benchmark, and they both achieved it.
One. Six.
I think one of Brecel's great assets, he's so unconventional.
Seven.
His shot selections don't always adhere to the norm.
Well, he's quite thin on this blue, but if he can get hold of his cue ball enough, he can find that little path into those reds. Doesn't need too much pace on this. Just a controlled pace like that, that's absolutely perfect. He's got reds to middle, he's got one to the right corner as well. Beautiful demonstration of control there from Luca. Just using the great angle he had on that blue.
Third say. Ninety. Twenty.
We've been waiting for the
27.
re-emergence of Luca Brecel, and maybe it's at hand. Made 2 centuries in his first match here against Zhang Anda, and those 2 centuries doubled his total for the season. And yet now
33.
all of the old form, Stephen, seems to be flowing back.
Yeah, and incredibly, and I say incredibly because I don't think anyone would have predicted this coming into this event, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility that it could be a repeat final of this 167 event. Of course, we're a long way away from realising our finalists yet, but I mean, I certainly would not have predicted a repeat final. But Luca's played some really, really good stuff this week. He's come through 2 really tough matches, played exceptionally well against Zhang Anda in his opener, played good against world champion Kyron Wilson yesterday. He said in his interview, as he plays a terrible positional shot there,
41.
he did a lot more reverse side on the cue ball. But yeah, he said in his interview, didn't he, he's back practicing, feeling good again. Although this one won't make him feel good. That cue ball needed to run another foot or 2.
always been one to try and knock in a plant. Sometimes it comes off, sometimes it can prove expensive. On this occasion,
Luca Brecel,
yeah, the
41.
hand held in the air, appropriate, that was really lucky.
Yeah, he played it with an element of safety, never quite sure where the object ball was going to finish, although he has left this red to left corner for Mark Williams. And again, another long one goes astray. He's attempted a couple this frame, Mark, and both not all that close. Let's see, he was up pretty quick. He pretty much knew that was not going to go in. So, chance for Luca to put the finishing touches to this opening frame.
One.
And we were talking about just how poor by his standards this season has been. To give you an indication of that, if he wins this match and gets to the final,
8.
the prize money he will receive here will more than double his prize money for the entire campaign so far.
No.
So he's 44 in front, 59 on.
See.
Red and colour will do.
$16. $23. $24. $31.
Easy use of side that Brecel can
32.
call on.
$39.
The double
39.
doesn't find the target, but Luca Brecel, aided by breaks of 41 and 39, draws first blood. He leads Mark Williams 1-0. And it's not going to be an easy task
Second
for Mark
frame.
Williams in this one either. That much
Mark
was
Williams.
quite clear from the opening frame.
Yeah, he made a couple of errors there, Mark, that quite uncharacteristic for him. You want to try and right those wrongs in this frame now. Again, still very short sprints, these matches. Semi-finals, best of 7 still. The stakes are just ramped up massively as well. Both players on a guaranteed 75,000. That jumps up hugely to a minimum of 125 for being in the final. So these are big, big moments for both players.
And this is the first time these two have met so late in any event. First round, last 32, last 64, last 16. And then Brecel's 2 wins, both in last 16s as well. going to give you an odd man out question, Stephen. 4 players left. Who is the odd man out?
I've got no idea.
Mark Williams. He's the only player of the 4 to qualify for the Champion of Champions so far, having won the Champion of Champions. So the other 3, if they prevail today, will book their ticket to that event next season.
Well, he did come round and have a little look at that red by the black.
Pink ball.
No hand up to apologise there, so presumably he attempted that. Red onto red. Oh, he's played a pretty good shot there, but has his cue ball come out enough for another red? Look at the little flick he's had to that red that's just gone by the black. Can he get through to it? Yeah, he can, and he can... Well, it's a horrible shot to have to play, but if you fully commit to this, you can float it in. You'll have black to corner, pink to opposite middle. Big shot.
Eight.
And that's where he excels, floating. Of all the top players, I don't think any of them play such a quiet cue ball so regularly as he does.
Yeah, it's actually really intimidating sometimes when you're watching and even playing Mark Williams, when he goes about his business around the table and how he just, as you say, floats the ball in. You know, under pressure, it's so difficult to do that. You know, you quite often see players would tend to err on the side of cueing the ball more positively, striking more positively under pressure. Mark is just happy to float them in. He completely backs himself. Something he's done his whole career.
$21. 22.
Well, he's just slowly chipping away at these reds, just unlocking this little break. He can float this in. The red directly beneath it will pass to this right corner as well. That then releases the 2 beneath it to the left corner. Again, Mark Williams now. It's his turn to start
28.
brushing the table. Plenty of chalk mark on there, you can see from the chalk of Luca Brecel.
Yes, Karen wasn't happy yesterday.
29.
That's just a matter of fact. Of course, Luca Brecel is well within his rights to use the chalk he does. It's just that the now overwhelming majority of tour players don't use that particular brand. But he's contravening no rule whatsoever.
$36.
Well, we talk about what a great shot maker he is, Mark Williams. And he certainly made one with the initial red. It was a clever shot he played because he did come round and have a look at it. He felt that it was always going close to that right corner pocket. There was enough traffic to cover it had he have missed it, and he also got a good cue ball as well, so there was a lot of motive behind that shot. Knowing as well that he had a very high chance of being on that pink close to right middle, and this has been the byproduct of that.
$45. $52. $53.
After reaching the final of the Saudi Arabia Snooker Masters, the World Ranking event here in
58.
early September, I thought Mark Williams had made a grave
59.
error by changing his cue at the English Open. Lost to Ben Wollaston. Then at the British Open, lost to Rory
66.
Thor of Malaysia. Both his opening matches. The tip was making a horrible sound.
67.
And yet he's become completely used to it, and now, seems to me, Stephen, is as good as ever. So I was completely incorrect, but at least I wasn't alone. Most people thought the same.
73.
Yeah, and it begs the question, you know, what are these players searching for? He's playing at the peak of his powers to get to the final in Saudi Arabia. You know, he was desperately unlucky not to win that. Well, he wasn't unlucky. It was pure brilliance from Judd Trump to win that final in the end. But, you know, it was a great week for Mark Williams. And then, as you say, changes cues. That's just classic snooker player, isn't it? Always searching for that little something extra, even if, you know, nothing's missing.
He plays with
80. $81. $87. $88. $95. $96. $103. Mark Williams, 103. Thank you. Third frame. Luca Brecel to break. One. Touching ball, please declare. Black ball. Brown ball. Mark Williams, 1. Five. Miss. Mark Williams, 7. One. Yellow ball. Foul. Miss. Mark Williams, 1. Luca Brecel, 4. 3. One. Six. Nine. Ten. Oopsie. Luca Luca Brecel, 40. Thank you. One. Luca Brecel, 1. One. Five. Six. Let's see. Oopsie. Nineteen. Twice. $26. 27. Thirty. 34. 41. 42. 49. 50. 57. 58. 58 on the frame.
Control once again of the table and ultimately won in the frame.
So best of 7 frames is distilled to the best of 3.
Just say that again, Mike.
It was a good fluke.
They've only played 2 best of 7s before, and on both occasions Williams had a comfortable victory. 4-1 in the last 32 of the Riga Masters in 2017. Same year, 4-1 in the last 64 of the English Open. This, though, this is big-time snooker.
Luca Brecel to break.
Lots of pressure attached.
Classic Mark Williams there just before the frame commenced, just saying to the referee Kevin Dabrowski, that was a good fluke, wasn't it? He's so calm and composed, isn't he? Just so nonchalant out there. Not a care in the world. Just laughs it off.
Does have moves, though, Mark Williams. I remember he went through a spell where quite often he'd shake his head. It looked as though he wasn't in position on a particular ball, and then after some prevarication he'd get down and knock it in sweet as a nut. Now that is guaranteed to get the other guy a little hot under the collar.
Yeah, that's the worst thing, actually, when you sat in your chair watching your opponent at the table, sort of moaning that they're on nothing, and then 2 shots later they've knocked it in back plumb. Well, Mark playing the swerve round there to try and just catch the edge of the pack. He did do, but caught it slightly too thin. But no damage done. There was a red available to left corner, but far too risky for Luca because he couldn't get his cue ball threaded behind the black and back out. Again, Mark trying to find the thin edge of this red. Just caught it a little thicker, and that's the reason, you know, you catch that safety shot slightly too thick, there's always a chance you push a red over the corner pocket. Just watch, he plants a 3-ball close to that right corner.
Well, he's left slightly hampered queuing over the brown, so that had to be potted.
One.
And maybe it compromised Brecel's control of the white, although it has come to a halt just in the nick of time.
Free. Four.
From one standpoint, Stephen, I think it's fair to say that if you're apportioning pressure here, maybe Brecel's under more than Williams, because in 2024, it's been a golden time for the Welshman. Not so for Brecel, who's trying to get back on the world stage.
Yeah, but then I suppose on the flip side of that argument, you could say that Luca's on a free roll this week because his results have been so below par. Okay, he feels like he's playing well and he's just not been getting the results, but ultimately the results don't lie. And the fact that he hasn't had many this season, this, you know, has given him a real big boost. Not just in terms of where his game is at with his confidence, but of course the massive amount of prize money that's coming with it. So he might feel that there isn't any pressure on him whatsoever, and that he can just go out there and enjoy snooker, and everything from here on out is a bonus now. But make no mistake, he'll want to win.
16. Yellow. Luca Brecel.
Bear in mind, this is someone,
16.
Brecel, who, if you include the World Championship earlier this year, when he lost in the first round defending, had lost or failed to progress from his opening match in 8 of his last 12 tournaments.
1.
A very important phase of the match, this. If Williams can have a good visit, a fruitful visit, thoughts of that fluke and the way he lost frame 4 will drift away. They'll still be in the back of his mind, but they won't be to the forefront.
Yeah, and it's not an easy chance, this, for Mark. He's got 2 reds at the back of the pink that maybe it plants to this left corner, which in playing will open the pink spot. Again, look, never misses a trick, Mark, to try and bring more balls into play. Just a little thinner on this pink than he would have liked. He's now going to drop this and play a delicate little cannon. Again, just lovely control there. Fully in control of where that object ball was heading. Knew he was pushing it close to this left corner pocket. Black isn't available to either corner pocket at the moment, so it's a good job. A couple of shots ago, Mark decided to open that pink spot, just give himself more options. But that one's gone wrong. You can see, didn't want that little flick on the pink.
And we saw from the overhead camera that he was stretching a little there, Stephen. That might have affected his timing.
Yeah, and it's one of them shots that just really sort of winds you up as a player, because there's no reason to make that cannon. He's had so much room for error there. Just trying to be too cute, too close to his next ball.
Mark Williams, 12.
This is the reason why I love watching Mark Williams play. There's always a motive behind his shots, and some of the shots he plays, they never look much, but look at the shot he's just played there, dropping onto the green, using the brown as the snookering ball, forcing Luca to come down the table, knowing that he's got that red in baulk available for him. Should Luca try and get back to baulk, Mark could then try and gain the advantage in 2 shots' time. He's such a clever player.
The class of 1992 is often mentioned. Top of that class, of course, that tremendous trio, O'Sullivan, Williams, Higgins. All of them are great lateral thinkers when it comes to snooker. It's as though they read a situation instinctively.
I bet Luca is sick of Mark Williams finding those thin edges. Again, tap on the table. He's just so consistent with that shot. He very, very rarely misses it, and he very, very rarely catches it too thick. It's always perfect as Luca finds, oh, nearly another fluke.
Well, even as a neutral, I'm glad that stayed out. That would have been too much to take.
One.
And a really an appetising shot to play now. The crowd applaud, and rightfully so. Potting that yellow in itself was tough, especially at pace.
That's not good from Mark. He just caught the knuckle, the top knuckle of that corner pocket, meaning he isn't on that red right of the black, the one that he played for. Just watch this blue again as he tops it through. Little trace of right-hand side to try and widen it off the second cushion. Just catches the knuckle.
Mark Williams, 9.
Well, there was nothing lucky about that. Mark came round, had a look at the red. It was a plant. He felt that catching the red onto the black would send that red to that pocket. Played it nicely. Okay, the little bounce of the knuckle at the middle pocket was not intended. But the brown being off its spot meant that navigating in and out of baulk was no issue.
6.
Not only the initial red, but to bring more reds into play as well. Very aggressive shot. He wouldn't have taken that on unless he was absolutely certain that that red was going to go in.
7.
The crucial part of the deciding frame against Judd Trump was the way that Williams, in one fell swoop,
Let's say.
developed a couple of reds from the top cushion. This time, he's got 3 awkwardly positioned.
He's got options here, Mark. He ideally would like an angle off the pink. Just slightly high of straight.
14.
Not sure he's got it there. Yeah, well, it might not be too bad. He could top this in. Plenty of pace. Come across and develop the reds. That's what he's tried. Good attempt. Now, has he just pushed a plant onto this right corner?
20.
It's very, very close. Oh, there maybe would just be set top jaw. This time, this is a lot tougher. He has to turn the second red over slightly. And in playing safe off them, trying to get back to baulk, he would surely push a red over this corner pocket anyway, so he may try and work this one out, Mark. If not, he has to be careful if he tries to get back to baulk. He may just try and contain things. He's just looking at the 2 reds, how close they are together. The initial contact on the first red, he needs to turn that second red over, just send it slightly left as we look behind the pocket. It's one of them where it sort of reverses. It's always quite a difficult shot to convince yourself how to play it. If he doesn't go for it, he's got to catch the first red incredibly thin. Plenty of left-hand side to get back up to baulk to avoid pushing that red over this corner, and that's exactly what he's done.
Mark Williams, 20.
How often have we seen that over the course of the last 3 days? If you catch that near jaw on these top pockets, no hope.
Yeah, he's actually turned it over too much, hasn't he, Mark? Because he's missed it on the left side. So good intention, but just not executed as well as he would have hoped.
20.
And now there's not a problem ball in sight. Obviously, lots of work to be done to clear up, but within Brecel's capabilities, very much so. And even though he's 21 points behind in this frame, he's the favourite.
Yeah, this is a big moment for Luca. Big clearance, a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's a spot.
There's nothing safe, as you say, so it's hard to see where any problems could arise, but of course we know that with pressure, things can go wrong. But this is a big moment. This clearance puts him one away from a place in the final. Yeah, pink was a nice ball to play on there. Although he's not got the best angle. You see a little shake there. Needed more angle there. He's a little straight. More angle, he could have just powered the cue ball up down the left side of the table. He's looking at playing almost a power screw shot here, screwing back above the middle pocket, possibly two cushions, but again, that can go wrong. The previous red was the poor shot. Where he's pointing his cue there, if he catches that part of the cushion, he surely needs to go off that one and then catch the baulk cushion as well.
We see it so often. Positional shot from last big colour onto the yellow. Invariably key.
There's the first cushion, and there's the second cushion. Now needs it to run. Playing it that way just increased his chances, increased the area for the cue ball to land on. But now he needs another good shot. He's got to pop this yellow into its own pocket and navigate the cue ball all the way down and back up the table.
The snooker gods continuing to smile on Brecel. A little different angle off that cushion. He could have been in behind the blue. Good pot with the rest, that. Good pot under pressure.
23.
The hard work seems to be done.
Yeah, that was such a good shot on the green under pressure. So easy to get a little too much side on that. You naturally play it with a trace of left-hand side just to swing the cue ball round. Played it nicely. Very easy to catch that one too thick. Under pressure, that was a brilliant shot.
A little lax, coming too far with the cue ball on the blue. Brecel needs blue and pink.
$32.
Luca Brecel has held his nerve and he's regained the lead. He's one frame away from a place in the final of the Riyadh Season Snooker Championship because he leads Mark Williams by 3 frames to 2. Mental capacity to win that match.
Thank you. Frame 6.
He's got
Mark Williams
terrific bottle, and he believes in his own ability and his own status to be involved in snooker's biggest matches. He won't be intimidated by O'Sullivan, unlike the vast majority of the Rockets' opponents, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I think that's certainly one of the things that stands for Mark Allen in the next game against Ronnie. He believes he can win. he believes he can beat anyone, and sometimes that's half the battle.
Just to give you some idea of what Brecel's playing for here, if he gets through, he'd be on a guarantee of at least £125,000. Now that is more than the first prize in quite a number of world ranking events this season. All of the Home Nation Series events, the shootout, and others. So it's very significant, this. And of course, if he does win this match, maybe go on to win the tournament, what validation that would be to say, I'm back.
Yeah, and for me, it was inevitable that Luca was going to find some form at some stage. You know, we speak about that disappointing start to the season. But for me, a little bit of hard work and commitment back to his sport, he was always going to find some form. He's too good not to. He's such an incredibly gifted player.
One.
And there's an example of just how effortless he makes this game look at times. Straight down, a couple of little feathers, just drops the red in. No problems. Now that may be okay if that red at the back of the pack passes to this right corner, which I think it may just. He's got the chance to possibly bring a few more reds into play. Yeah, delicately played. He's pushed one more red out.
Sixteen. Seventeen.
With the match on the line, thoughts of a 167 have receded, but the fact remains the golden ball is still on the table.
Yeah, it wasn't the best pack ever to go into there, although he may still have a red available to left middle, sorry, that may keep him positionally back on the black. It's very tough pot. And if he can't get to somewhere near the middle of the cue ball, it may be really awkward cueing as well. I think at this stage of the competition, this stage of the match, it's all about getting the job done. Regardless of how you get over the line, just get the job done. So this is the conversation Luca's having with himself now, just trying to find a way out of this situation. Can he keep this break going, or is it time to play a good safety shot?
the natural instinct for Brecel would be to try and remain at the table. But is it worth it?
Yeah, you could see there just from how he got down to that red, the loose red to left middle. He obviously can't get to somewhere near the middle of the cue ball, so there's no way he'll be taking that shot on.
Luca Brecel. 24.
The golden ball leaves for another frame, but that doesn't detract from the drama.
Now Mark may try and dig into this cue ball, send the red back down the table, go side cushion, try and get in behind that yellow. That's what he's tried, but caught the red a little too thin. And worse yet, he's not got a good cue ball.
When balls are going everywhere, there's always danger. He didn't intend that kiss on the red, but the little flick off it has worked perfectly. Just take some pace out of the cue ball and left a really nice angle on pink, Stephen.
I don't think you can begrudge him a flick here and there after that outrageous fluke a few moments ago from Luca. That's the least he deserves, Mark.
But more than likely, the way a snooker brain operates, Brecel's thinking, he had a nice little flick there.
Yeah, don't worry about that. He'll be chalking that one up in his mind.
Thanks.
Well, if he's not on the black, that really is a blunder. I just get the impression he is. He's okay, I think. Well, I think he had to coax it in with side, Stephen.
Yeah, I was with you. I was pretty convinced he could see that fine enough, but clearly from how he's played it, he had to just chuck a trace aside on it to straighten that black up. So much so that it only just went in off the near jaw. But again, another shot that Mark is just so good at.
16.
So consistent finding those thin edges.
Nineteen.
Williams left the table
19.
more prematurely than he wanted to, but at least he's only 5 behind now. Hasn't bothered to sit down because he knows his next shot is coming up pretty shortly.
Mark Williams 4.
That was a superb billiard shot, but that's not the game we're playing. This is not wham bam from Luca Brecel. He's very studious, clearly desperate to prevail.
Yeah, there you can see, just as the pressure has started to mount as this match has gone on, the average shot times inevitably have increased somewhat. Both players were down at 18 seconds in the early exchanges of this match, now at 21 and 22 respectively. So it just tells you, but again, sometimes the balls can dictate that. You know, the frames can go scrappy, as this one is. You know, when you're in and scoring, it's obvious you're going to be playing quicker. But it doesn't take anything away from just how important this frame is for Luca Brecel.
This time he benefits from a contact to hold on the pink.
Yeah, you could see the little tilt of the head there from Luca, just willing that cue ball to pull up. He wanted to be straight on this red, and now it's going close towards the green.
8.
So much so he wasn't even able to get position, so very quickly that break has ended.
Green ball. Luca Brecel, 8.
Well, that loose red going into the pack of reds has just flicked one out for Luca, although it's pretty straight to this right middle. Not really much he can do with the cue ball, but just give everything to the pot, so it's a safety shot. The thing is, he doesn't need to take any risks now, Luca. It's up to Mark Williams to try and force an opening. Now, if Luca can just chip off the red just beneath the pink, unless, does it pass to that middle? There may be a gap. Well, it does. Oh, what a pot that was.
1.
And this time a really unlucky knuckle. Because that was a terrific pot at pace. It's not the 7th and deciding frame, Stephen, but it's got the feel of a decider, this.
Absolutely. Yeah, the table has gone very awkward early on in this frame, which quite often you see in a decider. But there's so much at stake, isn't there? Luca's got control of the table for the time being, though.
1.
You know, a 10-point lead at this stage of the frame doesn't seem an awful lot, but with the colours where they are, a little bit awkward. Every time Luca pots a red, it takes points away from Mark Williams. And at the minute, Mark's not really able to get himself in. He's only able to just try and contain things.
You have to question that. The way he played it, the only ball he could leave was the one he went for. But when you go for a double like that, the ball can run wild and it can run over a pocket, and it has done.
Yeah, and he was having to bounce the red into the cushion to straighten it up, so it was a very tough shot anyway, very low percentage. The only reason he's played it was because he felt it was the only red he could leave should he miss it, but sometimes when you push the boat out a little bit too much, the balls just punish you, and look at the result. Not only did the red go in there, he's just flicked the yellow off the cushion as well. So this is now the opening Mark's been waiting for. Oh, but he's missed the blue with the rest. And now he needs some help, and he hasn't got it. Or has he?
Mark Williams, 1.
Surely one of these reds by the pink will pass to right corner. I think the one closest to the pink will.
8.
It's a dinky little red to middle.
Oh, we saw Ding play a similar shot to this yesterday on the brown. When you're so close to the object ball, you've got to get out of there as quick as possible. Bring the cue back as quick as possible. He's played it very, very nicely.
9.
Now he's got a similar sort of shot on this blue. When you're so close to the object ball like that, it's very easy to play a push shot or just barely touch the red at all. Now, big shot this coming up if Luca decides to take this blue to the yellow pocket. I think he has to go for this. He's pretty much right behind it. Just needs to fully commit.
Luca Brecel, 9.
Nerve ends raw. Not a bad attempt from Brecel, but when the
That's
white
fine.
and the object ball are
Sure.
so close together, judging the potting angle is always a difficulty. As Williams discovered there.
Yeah, fair play to Mark Williams there. What he's just done may go unnoticed, but he originally asked the referee to clean the cue ball because there was something on it. But because the cue ball was so close to the object ball, it may have been conceived by his opponent that he was trying to gain a mil or two in terms of when the referee replaces the white because it was so close to the object ball, so ultimately decided against it purely to not try and gain any sort of advantage. Of course, that's never what he would try and do, so completely disregarded the fact that the cue ball needed cleaning to play the shot first.
Already the lengthiest frame of the match. And what a strange frame it's been. Look at the balls where they are in very unaccustomed positions.
How do you fancy this 3-ball plan? He has to move that red somehow. Oh, that's a brilliant shot. What a shot that is.
1.
He's almost played a long swerve there. Look at how wide the cue ball comes and then back in just at the right moment. Whisker away from catching that second red. That was judged to perfection. Well, another big shot coming up now, this green.
Again, not an appetising shot to have to play. Especially with the rest, Stephen.
Yeah, the only thing is with this shot, it's not too bad because he can catch it thin enough, come across the face of the black possibly. He can get the cue and the rest out of there as quick as possible. The fact there's quite a bit of angle on this makes this a little bit easier. Oh, but he's missed it. That is such a misjudgment. Very easy to misjudge that type of shot when you're so close, but I didn't expect him to miss that one.
Brecel can't quite believe what he's just done. The only solace he can gain. Yellow, brown and blue all clustered together.
He's looking for a low angle on this black, which he's found. Just play up for the yellow. Now, depending what angle he lands on this yellow, he's got a number of options available to him. It's an awkward brown and blue, but ultimately needs to develop them. So he'll take his chance here. If he has an angle to maybe flick the blue away from the cushion with this shot, he'll probably take it. If not, he'll look for an angle off the green.
Also worth bearing in mind that the Williams problem might well be down the line the Brecel problem, because only 4 ahead, he will need those 2 awkward balls himself.
Now he's got to be very, very precise with this cannon. Well, he's almost
20.
executed that to absolute perfection, to try and catch the cushion and the blue simultaneously. If there was enough pace on the cue ball, he may have just pushed that brown on. So close.
They say, don't they, that no frame of snooker is ever alike, and this one has been very different to most. Lots of running side to help the cue ball make the journey.
20.
That, all things considered, very good indeed.
Yeah, there was a lot of emphasis on Mark there to get distance between the cue ball and object ball, because just rolling up to the brown or trying to just play a delicate one away from it would have left Luca an easy opportunity to put Mark in a lot of trouble. So once again, Mark thoroughly aware of that, taking that completely out of the equation.
Both players need brown, blue and pink. So Brecel needs 3 to win. Williams needs 3 to get to 3.
Sure, no problem. Right.
Oh, and he's going to the loo. He's going out of the arena. Well, when needs must, Stephen.
Yeah, and this has been the lengthiest frame of the match so far, just creeping close to 30 minutes. You know, there's a lot of pressure out there, a lot of fluids being taken on board. It's an easy thing to have to do at times. When you've got to go, you've got to go.
And of course, with all of these vast... So coming up, Ronnie O'Sullivan trying to defend this title. He's defended plenty of others. Will take on Mark Allen, who over the last couple of years has had a really good time of it. Any thoughts on the next match, Stephen?
Well, first of all, I'm very much looking forward to it. I
your
always
seats,
think it's an
please.
absolute privilege to commentate on the best players in the world. And, you know, we've got 2 of the best players in the world coming up next. Mark Allen against probably the best player ever, Ronnie O'Sullivan. It'll be a spectacle. But this one's still very much underway and still none the wiser of who's going to actually win this frame, because it's been a very cagey frame, this one.
And where blue and pink are, you get the feeling that a mistake on the brown might not be terminal.
Yeah, blue to pink is just a horrible shot anyway, even if you are right behind the blue, so there's certainly life left in this frame just yet.
first day of the tournament, very unusually, we had nothing but whitewashes, a quartet of 4-0 victories. But day 2 was very different to that. Super competitive, and the first semi-final in the same mould.
Well, he just needs to be careful here, Mark. If he's coming in behind this brown, that he doesn't push it over the green pocket, which is why he's going up and down. Good pace. Now Luca possibly has the same shot. He's got the up and down, or he could go in behind. This looks good. Oh, very nearly found coverage behind that blue.
Now that opened things up. Oh, the blue on the precipice. No one slam a door.
Yeah, Luca may have a free shot at this brown now. No, he's overcut it. If you are going to miss that type of shot, overcut it, because that way it's always going to run safe. And I just wonder how a few shots ago, Luca pushed that black safe. Will that come into play? Will it be significant at any point?
This frame is wide open, but over the years, who has been better equipped to win a frame like this? Mark Williams, a past master.
Yeah, this is where you can see quite a stalemate in this type of situation, because that blue is covering that pocket. That whole corner of the table is just a safe spot for the players. As long as you keep that brown somewhere near it, you're never going to leave anything.
And you might think, well, what's the latest ever re-rack in pro snooker? Well, it was, with just pink and black left on the table. Latest ever re-rack at the Crucible with blue, pink and black on the table.
I remember that re-rack with just pink and black left. That was Chris Wakelin and Matthew Selt in China, wasn't it?
Added dynamic here as well, of course. If there was a re-rack, all balls would come back up, including the golden ball. It would be a brand new frame. A ways to go before that happens. But if we got into a stalemate situation, it's not as if one player has a significant advantage. Essentially, they're dead level in terms of balls needed. This is going to be the lengthiest frame of the tournament. Indicative of what it all means.
Now, is Mark potentially looking at doubling this brown up into the green pocket? There's a bit of a free shot with the blue being there. He has attempted it, played it at such a pace that the brown was always going to come down the cushion. Again, another example of never missing a trick, Mark Williams. Always looking for that inroad.
And with the blue over that pocket, just to repeat, there is always the sanctuary of playing a safety shot towards it. Oh dear me.
Luca Brecel.
Well, the only good thing for Mark is that the brown is safe. No matter where Luca puts this cue ball, he can't pot it. But what that means now is that Luca only needs the brown and blue. He doesn't need that safe pink. So it makes a massive difference, that does. Because as well, there's even more pressure on Mark Williams' safety now, because every shot that he plays, Luca will be looking for any chance he gets to play any sort of shot, a cross double, a double. If he can get his cue ball safe, the blue's hanging waiting and it's match ball. So there's a lot of pressure on Mark now. He's put himself under it a little bit with that in off.
Two hours and counting, the match in progress. The rest of it has been quite swift, apart from this one. Williams has got limitless patience in this kind of situation. Another factor to take into consideration, if Brecel can pot brown and blue, as Stephen said, he would be 14 ahead. Now where the black is, getting snookers for Mark Williams off pink would be highly unlikely. So Brecel definitely in the ascendancy here.
Yeah, and it's really hard to see how either player is going to let up here, because but for anything outrageous. Oh well, there's another miss from Mark.
Yeah. Miss. Luca Brecel. Could we get that, please?
And now, after that, Williams needs all of them.
Still around some.
The original position is shown.
Yeah. Luca.
Cue ball put back precisely.
Oh, and now this makes a massive difference because Mark Williams will be warned. He has to hit this brown now. He's trying to catch the thin edge, clearly the right thin edge, just send it back towards that blue, but now he can't play that shot.
To Collins as a result of the stroke. The frame will be awarded to.
Williams will be delighted with the brown came to rest.
Now Luca's got a pretty big shot. If he can control the object ball, the brown, and get it safe, he could play a clever shot here, try and stun the cue ball in behind the pink, send the brown round 3-4 cushions, maybe towards that green pocket. It's quite risky. So that's why he's chosen against it. No need to push the boat out here, Luca. As long as he keeps that brown in open play on the left side of the table in that corner, he can't possibly leave Mark anything. It's up to Mark to try and push the boat out here. This looks okay. He's pushed the pink out. Okay, that helps.
Mark Williams has his back against the wall. If he can wriggle out of this predicament and win the decider, he'll go into the final playing with house money.
Now I just wonder, does Luca have the option to play a cross double here? Bit of pace on this brown. It's close. Oh, he got so close to it, and that's the problem with that shot. You get that close at that pace, it's more than likely going to stay over the pocket. He took a gamble there, Luca.
I'm really surprised Williams missed that because he had no positional consideration whatsoever.
Yeah, very, very surprising miss. And to make matters worse, he stuck the brown up.
Brecel has been very good with the rest throughout the match, and again it comes to his assistance. That's that. That is that. Mark Williams concedes. Luca Brecel was 2-1 down. Williams was playing nicely, but the Belgian won the last 3 frames, the last of which was an absolute epic, lasting 44 minutes. Luca Brecel, for the second Riyadh Season Snooker Championship in succession, is into the final.